Hello, it's that time again. Get up, get off the couch, and tackle your own to-do list. Welcome to Just Ask Bob Live. I am your host, Bob Assadourian. This is the show where we teach you DIY skills. Every episode has two goals in mind. Number one, DIY, to get you motivated, get you up and off the couch, to tackle and conquer that everlasting to-do list around your home. Doesn't matter if it's replacing or repairing a toilet, pulling up a ceramic tile, right to the big stuff. Man caves, kitchens, decks, fencing, doesn't matter. We will teach you those skills on every single episode. The other half of the goal in mind, always, in the event that your ladder won't reach the roof, you're not comfortable, safety issues, does not matter. We have worked very hard, including today, 22 episodes this season, continually working to demystify the process, as Bob likes to coin the phrase, on how to hire and find the right contractor for you and your home. It all begins with the license. Up on your screen now, you should be seeing Bob's license. Yes, indeed, licensing matters. Unlike reality television, today's host is actually licensed. Now, I'm sure many of you homeowners have had a vast experience in hiring contractors. I can only hope they've been good experiences, but I'm sure many of you are familiar with the grumpy contractor. He's in your home while you are paying for him to work in your home. You ask him a simple question, he barks out the answer. Ask him a second question, he barks even louder, giving you the hint, get out of the room. That's not how it should be. I've coined the phrase on this very network for 11 years, cutting out the crooked and overcharging contractor who in just about every single case is unlicensed. I've talked a lot about licensing in our community here and throughout the province. Licensing matters for contractors, handy people. The simpleness is the province leaves it to the municipalities. Some municipalities have a licensing in place, some do not. My municipality of Hamilton proudly does have the license. There is a difference. Without the license, the person you've hired to come in your home, potentially tear apart structure, pull down kitchen cabinets, re-roof, perform plumbing repairs with an open torch if he's working on copper. That person could have yesterday been making subs or pumping gas in your car. Nothing wrong with that if that's what you're supposed to be doing. But if you're coming into a person's home, you must be licensed. You should have skill sets in place. That's the key. In my municipality and in many across the province, we have what's called a building repair license or a master license. Number one, before you can even book an appointment to write the exam, you must show a valid police clearance. Period. That should speak volumes. A good contractor, in many cases, might be working in your home from well before you leave for work, and they still may be working in your home when you come back. You have valuables, you have family. That says a lot, the police clearance. Second item is they have to prove to the municipality they carry a minimum $2 million liability insurance. That's in the event they damage your home. Right behind me, you can see it, the Ontario Building Code, the Bible of home renovations in our province. Open book examination for 2 hours. 70%, at least in my municipality, means a passing grade. That is the individual, that is the contractor that you want to entrust your home to. Anything less than that, and it's the crooked and overcharging unlicensed contractor. Now, every episode here on Just Ask Bob Live, think of it as two parts. Part one, real reno from my job sites. These real renos are in response to a viewer's email, tweet, or phone call. We do our very best to tailor a job, could be a past job from some time ago, because we're always capturing the footage. We will illustrate through the job site renovation and teach you the DIY skills. Second half of the program, get your home rental questions ready. Ask Bob at cable14.com, tweet him in at Just Ask Bob, or pick up the phone and call 905-645-3232. We have a contest giveaway for a chance to win $50 Home Depot gift card. Call in and win contest. One of $50 Home Depot gift cards to get you up and off the couch to tackle your own to-do list. All you have to do, call into the live show, hit Bob with your hardest home rental question. For full contest details, go to cable14.com/Bob contest. And by the way, this is our season finale, 22 one-hour episodes. I am proud and at the same time humbled and privileged to have been brought into your homes. Last chance today to enter that contest. We have an email up on the screen, which is what's going to precipitate today's rental footage. But let me explain this now. This is very special. We have a very, very brave homeowner who wishes to share her journey, her experiences with you. This was a viewer's email from back in August of this year. So the second month we were into Just Ask Bob Live. I ended up visiting the homeowner, interviewing the homeowner, advocating on her behalf, and helping her. Enjoy the show. We have another email to tend to now. Dear Bob, thank you so much for your wonderful local TV show. I love your thorough explanations. I have a lovely old 1949 bungalow on Hamilton Mountain. The brick is attached to a metal grid or something and is loose and ready to fall off. On top of that, since receiving sewers, subdivision went in all around my home, which went through the foundation. There are fine and gaping fractures throughout. Wow. I don't know who to call or what type of repairman to do the necessary work. The brick is so cracked it cannot be repaired in my estimation. I called Fix My Brick, who sent a young man out who was not very helpful. Then a local builder looked at it, but did not want to do the job. I gave up after trying 2 to 3 years to figure this out myself. Could you please tell me how to proceed from here? What type of contractor do I need, etc.? Thank you so much, Carol Winstanley. Hope I pronounced that okay. Thank you for the picture. Pictures are worth a million words. Hello, Carolyn. Welcome to our program.
Hello, Bob. Good.
Please tell the viewers all about your journey. Tell them about the long journey that led you to find me.
Well, this has been about a 3-year journey that started with just hairline cracks in the brick facing, the stone facing in the front of my house. So I knew enough that I should get 3 different estimates from 3 different contractors, which I did. So the first contractor told me that the stone facing was good for another 20 years, nothing wrong with it. The second contractor told me the wall was ready to fall off. The third contractor stood on the lawn without examining the facing at all and quoted me a huge exorbitant price and told me to go to the brick store and find some bricks. I knew from talking to a bricklayer that I needed a specific product because I didn't have a ledge on this veneer facing to hold the weight of bricks. Anyways, off I went to the brick stores, all the brick stores in the region, to look at the pretty bricks. Well, I saw Bob on Cable 14 on Just Ask Bob, and he said that no job was too small, and he was a master contractor and knew how to fix things. So I watched the show and he was talking about diagnostic testing. I knew I needed diagnostics on this brick facing for sure. So I sent an email to Bob asking him what he thought of the situation.
Carolyn, it's very important, and people sometimes, as a contractor, they chuckle at me when I talk about diagnostic demolition or diagnostic testing. It's not only for medical professionals, but it matters also in renovations. When I looked at your home, I can tell there was moisture damage. But believe me, I had no idea what I was going to find behind there. So we have to take a logical approach. Exploratory demolition and or diagnostic testing means we're going to take down the stone veneer and we're going to examine. So if you recall, Carolyn, once we took down the stone, at every stage I would bring you out there. So what was the first thing you remember we found when we took the stone down?
We found a lot of water damage that had seeped through the cracks in the brick facing. The boards behind the facing were all wet.
Now, to my surprise at that point, we agreed to the extra additional costs of, again, the next step is removing the sheathing, removing that exterior wall board. Now, wow, were we both surprised. What's the next thing we found when we took that down?
Oh, it was terrible. It was a whole bunch of ants living behind the vapor barrier.
See, this gets difficult now because now we're at the point, the job started somewhat small to medium because at that time we didn't require a City of Hamilton building permit. That's the difficult situation now I've been working on the last 24, 48 hours. Now we have a problem where the drywall is damaged. So we brought in, well, tell the viewers, I suggested to you because again, in honesty, and you know this from past experience, I'm not a mold remediation specialist, and my services also do not specialize in pest removal. So who did you then contact directly yourself and bring in to take care of the pest removal?
Oh, we called Skedaddle to come in.
Wonderful people, wonderful folks. They took care of the issue with the ants. Now I have to address the structure. The structure potentially has been damaged. To what degree, I'm not sure of. That's why I have to bring in a building code identification number, licensed designer who's going to come in, examine the wood studs, advise me on what's required. I already know I need a permit now because I have to replace the insulation and the drywall from the inside. So what started out a small job has grown very large and very difficult. So for homeowners out there, I can't stress this enough. Your contractor has to take this in stages. You can't throw the whole bank at it right in the beginning. I recall, Carolyn, one of the contractors just stood at the lawn and he gave you some huge price.
Yes, that's correct.
Had he done anything? Had he pulled out a tool belt?
No, he didn't have a tool belt with him, and nor did I know to ask to see that they were in fact licensed with the City of Hamilton. I just thought a contractor was a contractor who knew what to do.
You also had a similar experience, a little bit different with a basement bathroom. You weren't aware at the time that contractors needed to be licensed, the permits needed to be pulled. Can you please tell us a little bit about that experience, sharing it with the viewers of this network, because I really want homeowners to understand what happens when things can go wrong, and what questions they should be asking their prospective contractors in the future.
Well, I spoke to a contractor who said he was a master contractor, worked for the City of Hamilton, and had also been referred by one of my friends. He said he could do the job and that I didn't need a permit because there was already a bathroom downstairs, so it would be a renovation. However, it wasn't done properly, and all that has to be ripped out again, more water damage. The bathroom looked beautiful when he did it on the outside, but the proper products weren't used, moisture barriers, etc., for the project.
See, again, here's where I can't stress this enough to homeowners, and there's many of you out there, and you know who you are. You don't like the P word. You do not like permits because you find it an intrusion. When inspectors come to your home, you may be worried they're going to find other issues. Sometimes the contractor makes it enticing. They say, let's do this under the table, save the taxes, no permits involved. Absolutely nothing but a nightmare is what you're asking for. Now, I myself personally yesterday examined this shower. I mean, I have enough work going on with the ant infestation and the brick veneer removal, possibly taking the kitchen cabinets down. But as a courtesy, I spent some time down there, cut out a foot of the drywall behind the shower, ran the shower for 20 minutes. It's leaking through the seams, leaking at the drain. Drain connection was done incompetently. None of this was done by licensed contractor plumber. The city, to their defense, they were not aware of this to come down and look at it. Again, it's something we'll deal with after we've dealt with the ant infestation, potentially the structural repairs, new vapor barrier, new insulation, possibly taking apart the kitchen in order to gain access. So an ending for the homeowners, I can't stress this enough. Please call the city, empower yourself, learn about what's going on.
What I've learned from this fiasco is that if I'm speaking to women, please be very, very, very careful. Just because someone says they're a master contractor doesn't mean that they have the official permits that they need to do the job. So that was something I didn't know. It was a big lesson that I had to learn. So ladies, please ask to see the license. Please check with the City of Hamilton to see that they in fact have a valid license, and please make sure that they get the required permits. Don't accept answers like, this is just a renovation because it was here before. It just ends up costing you a lot of money.
Carolyn, in ending, I want to say thank you so much. I want to thank you on behalf of myself, thank you on behalf of the great folks at Cable 14, and I want to thank you on behalf of all the viewers that are watching this. You are a very brave person. You allowed me to come into your home, to record this, to have this aired on television with the goal in mind of educating homeowners on what to look out for so they don't end up with a messy renovation. And the goal again is so that all their renovations end up being exactly what they expected. Thank you so much, Carolyn.
Thank you, Bob, very much for being a master contractor of integrity, one who was able to sort out all the problems associated with this pretty little house that just started out with a hairline crack in the brick.
Welcome to our job site. Beautiful day, cold though, very cold. Trust Bob when he says it's cold. I miss the summer. Now at a quick glance, beautiful property once again. Nicely landscaped. I'm sure this is familiar to our viewers. We've done work at this home before. Now again, beauty's only skin deep. Lurking inside the wall is an infestation, an ant infestation, causing a lot of problems. Damaged vapor barrier, damaged drywall, damaged wood framing, damaged insulation. Now this was an email that came in to Cable 14 probably a couple months ago. The issue was brick veneer, a brick stone type of veneer that was installed on the front of the home here. We removed it. What we exposed was a lot of damage in here. Josh, if you want to pull back some of that vapor barrier, please. Thanks, Josh. Oh, you're all covered up and ready. Just lightly pull it to the right. They don't like the cold. They were kicking around a lot yesterday. We're here at the job now and we're waiting for a professional pest control service, Skedaddle. Highly trained, highly competent. They're coming in to save the day here. We have Clayton here from Skedaddle. Clayton, welcome to my job site.
How's it going?
Good. Thank you so much. Bob's afraid of ants, anything that crawls, so we brought in the specialists. And you got the COVID Skedaddle mask on. Awesome. Please describe what this infestation is, as I keep referring to it.
Alright, so right now we've got some carpenter ants that you guys have exposed. It looks like a satellite nest. So we've got a bunch of workers in here. We've got a bunch of alates, so all these ants with wings. These are queens.
Give me a second, let me get in tight. Show us the queen, because this is amazing.
So these are queens.
How do you know that's a queen?
So their body is much bigger than all of the rest, and they've got wings. So in the springtime, all these queens are gonna fly, and they're gonna look for their own nests.
Wow.
Right here, we've got a bunch of excavation work that the carpenter ants have done to this person's home. All sorts of damage that these ants have created. These are little chambers where they're gonna have their broods, and their larvae are gonna all be hatching in here. So yeah,
wow.
This is what a carpenter ant infestation can do to a home.
This obviously causes damage.
Absolutely.
Please tell us about your procedure now.
So
We've never done anything on cable 14 to do with any type of pest control. So this is amazing.
We're going to get started. We're going to get a vacuum. We're going to vacuum up all of these ants. Then we're going to go through and get a spray up in all the cracks and crevices, anywhere that these ants can be hiding. All of these areas we can dust. The dust will travel really far into these beams, and it's really effective for any ants that are going to be living in here. That dust will take care of them.
Wow. Now we talked about an annual treatment plan. Please describe that to the people at home, the viewers. Instead of coming in for a one-time effect, you talked to me earlier off camera about how it's more affordable to be on a plan. Take this moment to explain to the viewers that may have this type of an issue what the plan entails, please.
Yeah, so this is called the 4 Seasons program this customer will be on. So not only are we taking care of these ants, there's 12 other pests that they'll be taken care of, along with rodents. We come outside, we're doing a spring service, a summer service, and a fall service, where we do a spray and make sure any ants that have left a pheromone cannot come back into the home and infest. And then it takes care of spider webs and any wasps or any other sort of pests that can infest your soffits.
Clayton, let's dive into the pheromone. That's amazing. So that's a scent?
That's a scent that these ants will leave so they can travel. So this is a satellite nest. Somewhere else off site there will be a main colony. These workers will go back and forth following a pheromone smell. This pheromone can last up to 7 years. So this house, although we're going to spray it today, there could be workers that come back and try to reinfest next spring.
Because my concern, as a contractor now, I've brought you in here, my concern is once I reinstallate, once I put up new wood sheathing and then the eventual vinyl siding, my concern is my new building products becoming damaged as such with the existing. So that's what the retreatment's important for.
Absolutely. So when we come back in the spring, we're going to do a spray, and that spray is going to have a residual effect. So any ants that try to come back from the main colony will have to go through that spray, and they're going to end up not being able to reinfest this home.
Wow, that's amazing. Clayton, thank you so much. Thank you on behalf of Cable 14 and staff, and of course for all the viewers watching this at home now.
Right now, what I've just vacuumed up, that's all called frass. Frass is basically the carpenter ants are chewing as they're excavating, and it's essentially throw up. So it's the wood that's all been excavated here, they've put all up in here, and they're able to, make that into a little colony as well.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, Clayton, we've watched you vacuum it up. What's the next step now, please?
So now we're going to dust this with a product called Dry On. So this is going to go up inside to the voids here. The spray won't be able to travel as far up as the dust will. So we're just going to give it a little dust here.
So it's literally a duster.
Yeah. Yes, it is, and it's just gonna the dust is gonna go up, and it's gonna be able to travel better than a spray would.
So you're using that in the cavities that they've dug into,
Exactly.
where the ants have burrowed in.
Yeah, because there was a bunch of ants out here, but we don't know what's living in here.
Okay.
So we're gonna get the dust, and the dust will be able to take care of any ants that are still living in the wood here.
So if I'm correct, this is a 3-step system. Step 1, vacuum. Step 2, to apply the dust product. And step 3 is the spray.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially with an infestation this big and something that we can get to visually. If we couldn't get to this visually, there would be a crack and crevice spray on the outside, and then we would apply dust through wall voids from the interior and electrical outlets.
Excellent. I'm just going to get in close there a second as you dust. I want to get a shot of that. Very nice. We'll let you keep dusting and we'll wait for the final step. We're on the final stage of treatment now. Clayton's applying the spray treatment. I can't stress this enough, how important it is to bring in the right professionals to do the right job. As a general contractor, I wouldn't try this myself. I'm not licensed, I'm not trained in it. I'm going to follow Clayton now as he makes his way around the home. The complete treatment plan the homeowners purchased here includes all around the property. As you can see, he's going around all the openings within and around the home's envelope. All protrusions, gas pipes, conduits, masonry chimney. Anywhere where the ants can find an opening to get into the home. Bring in the right professionals for the right job, and you'll have no problems. Believe it or not, everything here started with a viewer's email to Cable 14. This actually began with a simple question on a cracked brick, a cracked stone in the front of the home. We found ant damage. They've damaged the structure of the home. They've damaged the vapor barrier. They've damaged the drywall, the insulation. Follow us now. We'll give you a little bit of a tour. We have the plywood here. Unfortunately, we can't permanently install this. We have a BCIN designer. That means building code identification number. The gentleman's coming in a few days. He has to draw us a permit drawing. We need to apply for a permit to the City of Hamilton. He also is going to comment on the structure, or what's left on the structure after the ants have been eating it. As you can see, we've got a tarp set up here. The tarps to keep everything protected. We'll be taking the tarp off shortly. We'll be installing the plywood sheathing, temporarily installing it as a windbreak. As you can see, we're getting very close to winter here. The plywood will have to come off in a few days so the designer can have a good look at it. Follow us inside now. Welcome back, Frank. Working hard, sweeping away?
Absolutely, Bobby.
Josh, try to do the best you can to get a nice pan in here. Get a nice view for the viewers. Now, believe it or not, before we started here, there was a nice oak kitchen here. What you're looking at right at this moment, Josh, try to get as back as you can just to get a good shot of that wall. That's the back side of the wall that was damaged with the carpenter ants. The area below the window was ravaged the worst. This drywall was certainly damaged, so was the vapor barrier. We had to take all of it off. Again, we have the designer coming in to comment on this. This is it. This is just about a wrap. The end of season 7. The longest season Just Ask Bob has ever had on Cable 14 as Just Ask Bob Live. Now obviously you've seen the amount of work here. Tremendous amount of work. We'll be working here at least another 6 to 8 weeks. Kitchen cabinets take time to come in. A lot of items are special order. We've got city permits to deal with. Big can of worms, which all started with one cracked brick or stone in the front of the home. For all of the viewers, email Cable 14. Tell them you want Bob back for Season 8, 2021. That's the only way you're going to get to see the final reveal on this project. I hope you've enjoyed our Season 7. Thank you so much. See you in the new year. Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. I hope you enjoyed our rental footage. Don't forget, we're into the second half of the program. Email us your questions, send them in by tweet, or pick up the phone and call. Last chance for the contest to win one of 4 $50 Home Depot gift cards. We'll be right back after this break.
The Hamilton Chamber of Commerce has been the eyes and ears for local business for over 175 years. And now, only on Cable 14, you can get all the latest news and info about what's happening in the business community here in Hamilton and beyond. Join us every week on Chamber TV as we discuss the challenges and opportunities businesses face in today's turbulent economy.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful when Mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. I wanted a better relationship with Dad, so I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I'm sure glad I did. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
Tune in to Cable 14 on Tuesday, December 15th at 7 p.m. to watch as Santa and I revisit some of our favorite parades from last year.
We look back at Hamilton, Oakville, and Niagara parades.
You don't want to miss it.
Online shopping. Soon it will be the way many of us shop for just about everything. And that's where we come in. Canada Post delivers more parcels to Canadians than anyone else. Canada Post, delivering the online world.
Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. We kick it off with a viewer's email. Hello, Bob. What was the product you recommended for mold that was expensive but worked well? Tracy. Thank you so much, Tracy. It's a very simple product. It's called Mold Control. It's available at any local big box store. Now, I have to be careful with it. In my experience, it's worked well. However, it's on the low side of strength. So that means it is safe. It is easy for the homeowner to use and the contractor to use. But again, it really depends on the level of mold and the severity of damage. And most importantly, if you've stopped the cause or the issue. If you haven't done that, it's going to come right back. Now, if anybody in your family, I don't want to be recommending, I'm hesitant on recommending these products without having a professional, a licensed mold remediation company looking at it. So you have to be very careful. If you or anybody in your home has breathing issues, respiratory issues, allergies, please, I do recommend bringing a professional that specializes in air quality testing and remediation. So again, it's called Mold Control. You can also, do some research yourself. Bleach or other non-intrusive products may also work, but be very safe when it comes to treating mold. Good luck with it. We have another email here. Hello, Bob. I want to hang something on the outside of my house. I have brick finish. Should I insert the anchor in the brick itself or the mortar? I'm worried about compromising the strength of the brick. This is John from Hamilton. Great question, John. And we've done this on a couple of past episodes, even in various seasons. You're not going to compromise the brick as long as you do it correctly. I don't know what it is you're trying to fasten or hang, but let me give you an example. New home construction, that's the template there, the bad template, the way to learn what not to do. Everything associated with new home construction is about speed. Speed generates money. It doesn't generate quality. Now, downspouts throughout our province, they're brought down along your brick wall from the eaves trough to ground level. They are held on with small bands of metal. They are always installed through the mortar joint. Why? Fast, cheap, and easy. And the installer makes his money and takes it home. I can't tell you how many hundreds, if not over 1,000 or so, I've repaired, and I've done a couple on this episode. Follow us on our site, largest database on the net, www.justaskbob.com, where you can watch over 100 episodes and segments from this very network over the last 11 years. There's at least a handful that deal with downspouts or fastening into brick. So what I recommend always is the brick joint, but you have to follow the manufacturer's instructions. That's the key. One product I highly recommend, they're called Tapcon screws. They're blue in color. They come in 2 diameters, and there's 2 different drill bits for each diameter. So you're pre-drilling the brick so you're not overstressing it. Then the thread will cut into the brick itself. The holding power is tremendous. Your downspouts are never going to go anywhere. When you're driving around, especially in the winter, pay notice at how many homes the downspouts blown off or it's on the ground. That's very expensive, very difficult to fix when it's 20 below zero. Likely you'll have to wait till the spring. So if your home has downspouts that are fastened into the mortar joints, I suggest purchasing U-clamps, using Tapcons. Generally speaking, doesn't matter what it weighs, doesn't matter what you're hanging on the home. I would strongly suggest if you want it to stay, put it inside the brick joint. Now, there is one exception to that. If you're installing something that's not going to be of a permanent nature, that's the key. If you're putting up something temporary, you can fasten it into the joint, and then when you pull it out, you can repair the joint with some mortar. Gray mortar, it'll blend in over time. If it's something temporary and you're boring through the brick, you're going to have a hole in the brick, and even if you color dye the mortar, it's never going to blend in. So in a nutshell, if it's permanent, bore into the brick. If it's temporary, bore into the joint. Keep that in mind. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
As we navigate through 2020 and the unique experiences we've all faced this year, it's the connections we have to the community around us which allow us to stay informed about the people, stories, and experiences within our own Hamilton network. Each day at 5 p.m., we'll bring you closer to the connections and experiences within the Hamilton network, right here on Cable 14 and online at cable14.com.
During these past few months, I've encountered some challenging situations as an emergency department physician, but we are passionate about helping patients. This is not just our commitment, it's our calling. When you give the gift of health this holiday season and support Hamilton Health Sciences Foundation, you are helping caregivers like me have the resources we require to deliver the best possible care. Please give the greatest gift of all, the gift of health.
Watch The Opinionators, your weekly dose of provincial and federal politics with a partisan slant. Airing Thursdays at 5:30 on Cable 14.
Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. We have Stephen on the line. Welcome, sir.
Hi, Bob. Congratulations on another successful season. It's been real interesting, and I enjoy watching your show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Every show you open with the requirement that you should be dealing with licensed contractors with appropriate insurance and whatnot. What happens when you're involved in a major contract, multi-million-dollar contract, and you get to the point where you have to terminate a contractor? What options do you have? What steps should you take? Where should you go with perhaps recoveries or that sort of thing?
I mean, great question. If you're dealing in millions, may I suggest you definitely need a lawyer. Just ask Bob here. My home renovation company, we're tiny. We're small, family-based business. If you're dealing with a contract that's worth millions, I mean, you definitely, I would recommend your legal advice. Can I have a little more background on it?
It's a renovation project for a 50-unit townhouse complex. The contract's awarded to a contractor that I don't believe has a license or adequate insurance. And while I've made inquiries about both, I've been denied all that information. The project itself has been replete with all kinds of problems, including having to tear out work and have it redone, and incompetent workmanship, and illegal installations. It's just been a nightmare.
Has the city been notified? Have you or anybody else notified the city, because again, they're there to help. Believe me, I know the good people at the Trade Exam Board and Building and Licensing Department. I would recommend that you do bring it to their attention. It is their mandate to ensure the contractors in the municipality are licensed. That's important. Have you tried to bring it to their attention?
No, what was that organization?
City of Hamilton Trade Exam Board. So you
Trade.
can call, we'll try to put this number on screen, 905-546. Well, actually, probably won't be able to put it on screen. That's okay, 905-546.
Yes.
2424.
2424.
Yeah, 2424. When you call, ask for licensing department. Licensing department does regulate the licensing requirement for contractors. I'm very certain that it is their job, that they will reach out to you. You reach out to them and they'll respond to you. They will do their best to help you.
Okay, I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Best of luck with that, sir. And I really, really hope it works out well for you. We have Betty on the line.
Good evening. It's Betty.
Good evening. Welcome, Betty.
Well, thank you. We are living in Boonbrook, and the house is about 13 years old. Early spring we had some bad rains that hit the front of the house, and we had water coming in a window and coming down to the first floor of the window, like of the front door.
It was a second-story window?
Yeah, it was it's a second-story big window with an arch, you know.
Oh, is it a cathedral ceiling when you come in?
Yes.
So I can almost picture that. So it's the window with the arch at the very top, but you have floor space there?
Yes.
Okay.
So we saw the rain. We collected about 2 cups of rain.
Wow.
On the first floor. And so we had a contractor that was on the street, and he came and quickly sort of caulked around the window outside because there's a porch over it, just below it.
Okay.
So they did that, and it seems not too bad. I went out and I put some more caulk, and I even put duct tape just to try to keep the water away. So we haven't had any more, but so that's sort of the condition of this window. It still feels very cold in one corner. Getting back, this is really going to the creatures. In the summer, we found an infestation of wasps in the garden, on the ground at the base of a juniper crawling bush. And so they would come and go, and they wouldn't bother us. And people say, "Oh, don't bother them if they're bees or wasps." We're not sure. And that was fine. Actually, my husband did go and spray in the hole when everything was quiet with some killer. And then I was up in the room, and I found about 18 of these bugs, wasps, I say they are, that were very sleepy, and they were on my furniture and on the window, and I picked up about 18 of them. And then they seemed to be coming up the vent, so I closed the vent and put it back in. How worried should I be?
Well, number one, as you've seen in the program, this was my first experience with the people from Skedaddle. I highly recommend them. Look them up, contact Skedaddle. That I'm very certain will satisfy you with the insects. Item number 2, correct me, your home's approximately 14 years old?
Yes.
Sounds like it's time to replace all the caulking. If it's the builder's grade caulking and it lasted you 14 years, take my word for it. Have your installer, contractor, or yourself use polyurethane style caulking, and it might even last you 2 decades. Thank you so much, Betty. We've just got another caller to take. Thank you so very much. I appreciate the call.
Who should I contact to put the caulking in?
Oh, for the caulking? Licensed contractor. That's important.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Yep. Bye.
Bye. Tina, we have Tina on the line. Welcome, Tina. How are you?
Okay. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you for calling.
Thank you for letting me ask my question.
Yes.
What I'm going to ask is we have a concrete porch in the back that my grandfather built almost 50 years ago, and my mother's heartbroken. It's starting to fall apart, and it's made of big concrete blocks, and most of it's pretty solid, but there's been some chipping and now some big, huge chunks have fallen out. So I'm wondering if I can fix it by shoving in some concrete, or if I need to get an expert to actually take out whole bricks and put new bricks in, because there are some spots I'm seeing now that there's chunks and I can see a hole all the way through.
Are the blocks essentially fine, and if more of the issue is the joints? Because it sounds like it's a block foundation. Are the blocks intact, and is more of the issue the joint, or is more of the issue the block?
It's well, we got the neighbor to parge it before, because it was just some
okay. So
the
parging's cracking.
Corner blocks are actually falling out. The chunks of the corner blocks are falling out.
Okay, I mean, in that case, maybe bring in a contractor. One way to sort of generalize it is, I mean, you have it parged, so that makes it a little bit more difficult, but if it's the joints, that's fairly easy DIY work, do it yourself. If it's the blocks, especially the corners, because the corners have a lot to do with the structural integrity. It will not hurt you to bring in a licensed contractor, a true professional who should not charge you a penny to give you their opinion, give you clarification, and also give you a quote, Tina.
Okay. Do you have any recommendations on who to call for something like that?
No, I don't have anybody, any recommendations. I'm extremely busy this time of year as well, but there are good fellas out there. But the key is put them to the test. Ask them the hard questions, ask them for licensing, ask them for insurance, and ask them for a whole host of references. Call those references, be sure they give a satisfactory report, and then make a good decision on who you're going to hire.
Hey, do I just look under masonry, or?
You can look under masonry, you can look under general contractors, both.
Okay.
Okay, best of luck, Tina. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick email. Hello, Bob. I know as a homeowner, I can change a light fixture myself. Do the same rules apply to changing out a light switch or an outlet? Chris from Ancaster. Chris, excellent question. Now, I'll be very honest with you. I'm not a licensed master electrical contractor. My electrician is. So the honest answer is, I believe it's okay, but I'm not 100% sure. So please do follow up with me. Our website is www.justaskbob.com. Through the website, you can either email me or you can send me a quick call, leave me a message. And I guarantee you that I will provide you with an honest answer. Bob doesn't make anything up. Follow up with me. I'm going to get you the answer. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The Hamilton Chamber of Commerce has been the eyes and ears for local business for over 175 years. And now, only on Cable 14, you can get all the latest news and info about what's happening in the business community here in Hamilton and beyond. Join us every week on Chamber TV as we discuss the challenges and opportunities businesses face in today's turbulent economy.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. It drove me crazy. It got so bad, I couldn't do my homework. I couldn't concentrate. I absolutely refused to let any of my friends come to our house for any reason. I would have been humiliated if anyone found out how much my dad drank and how loud my mom screamed at him. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful. The only thing that happened is my mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. Her relationship with my dad really changed. I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings, or to Alateen. I wanted to see if I could have a better relationship with my dad. I'm sure glad I did. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
COVID-19 continues to impact almost every aspect of our lives here in Hamilton. On our next town hall, I'll be joined by Mayor Fred Eisenberger, Paul Johnson, and Dr. Elizabeth Richardson as we answer your questions about COVID-19 in the city of Hamilton. Please join me for our next live COVID-19 town hall on Thursday, December the 10th, beginning at 7 p.m. right here on Cable 14.
Welcome back to Just Ask Bob Live. We had a caller. We don't have time for him. The show's almost over. Please follow up with me even after the show. You have my word. I'm always going to answer your questions. It's been 22 episodes. Again, I am honored and humbled to have been brought into your homes to help teach you and help advocate for your rights. Always remember, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Call in the off season, email Cable 14. You want Bob back, season 8 in 2021. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody.